Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is Broke Watch Fanatic, and today I want to talk about my Seiko SLA049, the Naomi Uemura 80th Anniversary Limited Edition Diver. This is my first ever SLA model in Seiko's lineup, and this thing is a stunning piece. In 1970, Seiko introduced an iconic watch that is instantly recognizable. It had a smooth, asymmetrical case design with built-in crown guards at the 4 o'clock position. It had a 150-meter water-resistant rating and lume on its hands and indices with extreme legibility. The watch was tough and reliable. It was worn by a Japanese mountain climber, Naomi Uemura, from 1974 to 1976 as he completed a 12,000-kilometer run on a dog sled from Greenland to Alaska. This watch was released in 2021 in a modern reinterpretation and marks the 80th anniversary of Naomi's birth. Seiko has released 1,200 pieces of this limited edition version. The patterned dial is supposed to represent the mountainous terrain with the blue tones resembling the Earth's upper atmosphere. Fun fact, Naomi Uemura was the first person in the world to reach the peak of the highest mountains on all 5 continents. The watch comes in at 44 millimeters wide, with the bezel diameter being 41 millimeters, thickness of 13.3 millimeters, and a wingspan of 49.2 millimeters with 20 millimeter lug spacing. Let's talk about the case. The top surface of the case has a circular brushed finish, and Seiko has included a step-down lip as the top surface transitions to the polished sides, something that isn't seen on your regular Willard, such as the SPB183, SPB151 and 153 to name a few. It still has the traditional asymmetrical case shape with the crown guards sticking out at 4 o'clock. This watch is slightly larger than a regular Willard, but I was able to wear both the SPB183 and this SLA049 with no issues on my 6.5 to 6 3/4 inch wrist size, so feel free to use that as a reference. The watch is sandwiched by a curved sapphire crystal with inner AR coating and a stainless steel caseback. The caseback is marked with the words Naomi Uemura 80th Anniversary Limited Edition with the serial number out of 1,200 pieces. The dial to me is what really stands out in this watch. I love the texture on this dial with its slight sunburst finish. I can only describe the texture as finely wrinkled paper, and it has some nice subtle reflections against the light. The minute markings are on the dial, so there's no need to worry about misalignment on the chapter ring. Speaking of the chapter ring, Seiko has decided to add a similar shade of blue to the chapter ring so that it has a nice flow from the bezel insert to the dial. If you're not a fan of blue, the good news is that there is another version in black or black gray with the model SLA051, which is cheaper as it's not a limited edition. The hands are a little different from your regular Willard. The hour hand and stoplight seconds hand is skinnier, while the minute hand I believe remains the same. It is still finished with one half being brushed and the other half being polished. I think this handset brings with it a classier, more upscale look that is associated with the SLA models. A point of contention is this date window located between 4 and 5 o'clock. I was thrown off by it when the press release was out and could not get over it for some time. But on the flip side, you do get a full loomed index and looks pretty cool in dark situations. As for the date window, at least it's a black date wheel which blends in well with the dial, and eventually I got used to it. The crown is about 6.5 millimeters and quite awkward to operate. The crown guards do a great job at protecting the crown, but the downside is that they get in the way of operating the crown. It almost feels like you're only allowed a quarter turn at a time before having to reposition your fingers. The bezel insert is stainless steel with a coating on it, and the bezel action has 120 clicks unidirectional. The stainless steel parts of the case and bracelet are all super hard coated with Seiko's DiaShield technology, and I guess you could say it's holding up well based on my wearing experience. The bracelet has 5 rows of steel with polished accents in between the main links. It looks like it's a 5-link bracelet, but upon closer inspection, it's actually a 4-link bracelet. The outer links are actually one piece if you look at the back. It's a pin and collar adjustment system, has a diver's extension with a trifold push button release clasp locking system. The watch is powered by an automatic 8L35 movement, which is designed for high torque beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, or 8 ticks per second. It's a breath of fresh air when you're used to Seiko's 21,600 vibrations per hour, or 6 ticks per second on their 4R movements. It has approximately 50 hours of power reserve and is said to be hand assembled in their Shizukuishi watch studio in Japan. So after owning my first SLA model, I was really impressed by the fit and finish of this watch. I can tell by handling it that it's a step above the other Seiko watches with the 4R and 6R movements. Maybe it's in my head, but when I see the seconds hand ticking away at a much smoother rate at 8 beats per second, it feels more special than my non-SLA Seikos. After all, it does have a Grand Seiko movement inside. The 8L35 is essentially an undecorated movement from Grand Seiko, a derivative of the 9S55 movement. I've always liked the cushion case that was made popular by Seiko. It sits low on the wrist and has a tendency to hug your wrist with comfort as if it was custom made to fit. Maybe that's the magic of Seiko and why they're able to get away with such large watches. The watch is overall an exciting watch to own. It's a watch that only true watch enthusiasts will recognize and appreciate. It's also fun to see people's faces in shock when you tell them the retail price on this regular Seiko. It definitely puts you in the crowd of people who are in the know. So I hope this video helped out some of you and also made you appreciate the Seiko SLA models. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care everyone.